Hola, hello, and welcome. We're back with the third part of our digital animation series. Today, we'll shift from the technical production to the artistic side of animation, focusing on how we use visuals and sound to tell stories. This lesson will cover color theory, color psychology, graphic narrative, and audio-visual language, including shots, angles, and camera movements. Mastering this vocabulary will help you communicate your creative vision to anyone, anywhere. Let's begin. Color theory and color psychology are fundamental for creating visually appealing and emotionally resonant animation. They explain how colors work together and how they affect our feelings. Color theory: the study of how colors are mixed, how they relate to one another, and the visual effects of combining them. It's built on the color wheel. Color wheel, a circular chart that shows the relationships between colors. It includes primary colors, red, yellow, blue, secondary colors, green, orange, purple, and tertiary colors, mixtures of primary and secondary colors. Color palette, a curated selection of colors used for a project. Hue, the pure color itself, for example, pure red, pure blue. Saturation, the intensity or purity of a color. A high saturation color is vivid. A low saturation color is muted or gray. Value, the lightness or darkness of a color. A light color has a high value, a dark color has a low value. Color psychology, the study of how different colors influence human emotions and behavior. For example, warm colors like red and yellow can convey energy or passion, while cool colors like blue and green can evoke feelings of calmness and tranquility. Example for a project presentation. Our color palette is based on an analogous scheme of blues and greens to create a calm, tranquil mood, which aligns with the color psychology of the scene. We've used a highly saturated red for the main character's scarf to make them stand out. Graphic narrative is the art of telling a story through a sequence of images. In animation, it's the bridge between a script and the final product. Graphic narrative, the use of visual elements such as images, composition, and sequencing to tell a story. It's the visual storytelling component of your animation. Storyboarding, the process of creating a sequence of drawings or illustrations to pre-visualize a motion picture, animation, or interactive media sequence. Key scenes, the most important moments in the story, which are usually planned out in detail during the storyboarding phase. Visual elements, the individual components that make up a visual composition, including characters, backgrounds, props, lighting, and color. Composition, the arrangement of visual elements within a frame to create a pleasing and effective image. Visual hierarchy, the arrangement of visual elements to show their order of importance. A good hierarchy guides the viewer's eye to the most important parts of the frame. Example for carrying out work. The storyboard for this sequence must clearly show the graphic narrative of the character's journey. Pay close attention to the composition of each frame to ensure a strong visual hierarchy, guiding the viewer's focus to the character's emotional state. Audiovisual language refers to the techniques we use to communicate visually and audibly. In animation, this involves a virtual camera and its relationship to the subject. Shot, a continuous view of a scene taken by the camera. The size of the shot is defined by how much of the subject is visible. Extreme long shot, ELS, shows the subject from a great distance, often establishing the setting. Long shot, LS, shows the entire subject from head to toe, giving context. Medium shot, MS, frames the subject from the waist up, often used for dialogue. Close-up, CU, fills the frame with a specific subject like a character's face to show emotion. Extreme close-up, ECU, a very tight shot that reveals a specific detail like an eye. Angle, the position of the camera relative to the subject. High angle, the camera looks down at the subject, making them appear small or vulnerable. Low angle, the camera looks up at the subject, making them seem powerful or dominant. Eye level, the most common angle, placing the camera at the subject's eye level for a neutral perspective. Camera movements, the physical or virtual movement of the camera during a shot. Pan, the camera turns horizontally from a fixed position. Tilt, the camera moves vertically from a fixed position. Dolly, the camera moves forward or backward on a track or dolly. Zoom, the camera's lens is adjusted to magnify or demagnify the image without the camera itself moving. Example for a foreign company. We'll use a high-angle shot to show the character's defeat in the final battle. As they stand up, we'll perform a slow dolly in to a close-up on their face to emphasize their resolve. Finally, audiovisual rhythm is the pacing of your animation, determined by the length of shots, camera movements, and the sync with sound. Audiovisual rhythm, the tempo and flow of an animation created by the duration of shots, the speed of camera movements, the editing, and the accompanying sound and music. Pacing, the speed at which the story unfolds. Fast pacing can create excitement, while slow pacing can build tension. Editing, the process of assembling different shots into a continuous sequence. Cut, an abrupt change from one shot to another. Transitions, the methods used to move from one shot or scene to another, such as a fade or dissolve. Sound design, the creation of all sound elements for a film or animation, including dialogue, sound effects, and music. Example for reading manuals. The manual explains that a series of quick cuts can create a faster audio-visual rhythm for an action sequence. To sync with the music, you can use markers on the timeline to match the editing to the beat, which will improve the overall pacing. With these creative and technical concepts, you're now equipped to think like a professional animator. Keep practicing, and you'll be able to create powerful and compelling stories for a global audience. Buena suerte!